And here is this report.
The International Monetary Fund Managing Director Christine Lagarde said that the IMF is strongly committed to working with the new Egyptian authorities to support the Arab world's most populous nation in its difficult transition and is ready to send a mission to Cairo should the authorities wish it. Lagarde added that the fund was ready to discuss economic measures that would generate urgently needed improvements in the life of Egyptians. Her remarks came after Egypt reduced its representation to the fund's annual meetings to diplomatic staff in protest of what several Egyptian officials said was the fund's reluctance to recognize the new government. 2 years of negotiations over a $4.8 billion American loan have passed without an agreement between the two sides, mainly because of successive Egyptian government's reluctance to impose reforms needed to fix the economy, but that would squeeze an already economically strained population, such as lifting fuel subsidies and raising taxes. Political change in Egypt has also taken its toll on the talks. Since the July 3rd ouster of President Mohamed Morsi and his government, the fund hasn't resumed its talks with Egyptian officials, saying it was still determining how it would approach the newly installed government. In response, officials such as Prime Minister Hazem al-Biblawi, his deputy Ziad Bahauddin, and Minister of Industry and Foreign Trade Munir Fakhri Abdel Noor have all said that Egypt was in no rush to sign an IMF deal, thanks to available resources from the Gulf cooperation countries that would enable it to implement its economic program. Since July the 3rd, Egypt has turned increasingly to friendly Arab nations for economic assistance, receiving pledges of $12 billion American in loans, grants, and fuel shipments from Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Kuwait, of which $7 billion American have already been delivered. Turning to friendly Arab states and away from the IMF will temporarily relieve Egypt from imposing austerity measures that could trigger public unrest. Egypt's fuel subsidies alone take up 20% of state expenditure, while the budget deficit has reached 13% in the year 2012-2013. Finance Minister Ahmed Galal had said in September that the government aims to reduce the deficit to 9.1% of the gross domestic product.
Right, welcome back. These were the statements of Lagarde to the negotiations or the request of Egypt. But only on Wednesday or last Wednesday before the Great Byram, the United States officially said it was cutting millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in military aid and other aids to Egypt to try to put some pressures on the interim government to go on the track it is overseeing. Let me return to my guest here, Dr. Ismail Hamid, Islamic researcher, and continue on with our conversation.
Yes.
And we stopped at Al-Qaeda and the worlds or the organizations or the groups that have
Yes.
split it from the Muslim Brotherhood. And now let me return to Egypt and the implication of this on Egypt, what we are seeing today.
Yeah, I can say that what we have now, it is more obstinacy that showing that Muslim brothers, especially the leaders that we have now, that they are the students of Sayyid Qutb and his radical way, that they don't want to leave Egypt to be more secured and peaceful. They want to show the Egyptian people that even after that they were dissolved or they were away of the power, that even that the situation in Egypt became more worse. We want to show them that it was not our mistake that was before, but what happened for us after that, it became worse for them. So they want to stop. They want to stop the manifestations. This in order to stop or to make problem for Egyptian economy. For example, we have two things that they are dependent on: the security and the stability of the country. We have tourism and we have investments. I think
And
with
both
the
are cut.
security. Huh?
And both are cut.
Yes. So if we have these two sources, Egypt will be on the top economically, because if we talk about tourism, the last year, or the year before the revolution, 25 January, we had 15 million tourists that they were in Egypt, that they spent nearly $15 billion in Egypt. I think $15 billion. It was something
Would
great
really
for Egyptian
refresh the economy. Yes.
Yes, also, and was also making lots of support for the people, because in tourism, the people, they give the money hand by hand. So the taxi drivers, the people in the restaurants, and even the farmers that they work and to send their vegetables to the hotels in order to provide them with the
Yes,
food
we
and all
have
this.
more than 12 million people working in this sector.
Yes,
in the
nearly
tourism.
4 and 5 million that they work directly
Yes, but in
with
the
that.
whole sector, I mean, hoteling,
Yes.
tour guides, I mean, the whole sector,
Yes,
the whole
yeah,
sector, there
yeah,
are
yeah.
of 10 to 12 million, they were working
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
sector. However, tourism and investment rely totally on the security. And
Sure.
this is why we are trying here to discuss why violence and why this violent way. And I want to ask you here, can we really differentiate between members of the brotherhoods, I mean here, leaders, members, sympathizers, and even to differentiate between the kind of sympathizers?
Yes.
Can we?
Yes, surely that if we talk about the whole movement, we have lots of categories. We have the leaders. And the problem that all the leaders, they are the leaders that they have their ideas of the radical ideas. And after that, we have the second leaders, the third, and after that, the common members of the Muslim Brothers. And I think these people, they are very nice people, they are very good people, and they follow their leaders by their heart, and because they have a confidence for them, they trust them, and so far away, as we say, with the bay'ah and all this. But the common people, and the common members, okay, or qaida of the Muslim Brothers, they are very good people that we can treat with them on the that they are our neighbors.
We have
and
always been
yes, yes.
living with them all our lives.
Yes.
I mean, if I may ask you here, of course, there is a call for reconciliation among all the society. This call has been called once and twice and many times. I mean here, what or who of those segments can reconciliation start? And according to what basis, and how to convince those that there should be reconciliation, and that, I mean here, they are sympathizers because they believe that they are just trying to protect or trying to impose the commands of Allah or the Islamic Sharia, and that all others are not helping them to do so, or are change the whole society from believers to non-believers.
Yes.
How can this discourse be changed?
I think from Al-Qaeda, of these people, or the common members, these are the people that they are worthy to talk with them. They are good people and they have good faith, but the problem that they follow their leaders. And the leaders, they are radical leaders. Okay, they are very obstinate. They cannot abandon their radical ideas. They cannot leave Egypt. And all of them, they are arrested now and they are in the prisons. But also they have great effects on their members and their common members, all these. But I think these people, we should gain them. We should approach to these people this in order to convince them that the interest of the whole country is more important than the interest of a group or a movement. But the problem that we have orders also that they came from outside, from the international organization, that also we have lots of members of them that they are now in the United States of America, that they are in Britain, and we can see them in Al Jazeera every day. They are hostess in Al Jazeera, and they give their radical ideas every time. And these people, they have the keys now, even that the leaders in Egypt that they are in the prisons, but also we have another problem for the other leaders that they are outside.